Have you ever opened your refrigerator thinking everything inside is safe, only to discover that what's supposed to protect your food may actually be making it dangerous for your health? Did you know that many common foods, yes, even some of your favorites, can lose vital nutrients, trigger harmful chemical changes, or even become toxic when stored cold? And here's the most surprising part. For older adults whose immune systems aren't what they once were, these hidden risks could spell disaster, turning a trusted kitchen habit into a life-threatening mistake. Hi, my friend. This is Senior Health Boost. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a major food storage myth that could be quietly harming millions of older Americans. According to the CDC, nearly 48 million Americans get sick from foodborne illnesses every year. Over 3,000 die, and many of them are seniors. Why? Because our immune systems naturally weaken with age. That means the everyday foods we assume are safe may no longer be as friendly to our bodies as they once were, especially when stored the wrong way. And here's the most alarming part. Your refrigerator, the very place you trust to keep your food fresh and safe, might be contributing to the problem. Recent research shows that putting certain fruits, vegetables, and even pantry staples in the fridge can increase your risk of food poisoning, destroy valuable nutrients, trigger harmful chemical reactions inside the food, especially dangerous for seniors. Yet, most people have no idea. They think they're doing the right thing, when they're actually making a costly mistake. So, if you've been tossing certain foods into the fridge without giving it much thought, you could be unknowingly putting your health at risk. In fact, pay close attention, because the number one item on this list is something most people refrigerate without thinking twice. Yet when chilled, it can actually form toxic compounds and lose its nutritional value. Please stick around until the end. What you'll learn today could protect your health or even save your life. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed to Senior Health Boost yet, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you'll never miss a vital health tip made especially for you and your loved ones. And if you find this topic helpful, just type the number 1 in the comments below to let me know you're here with me. If you'd like me to improve or cover other topics, type the letter C to share your feedback. 3 foods you should never refrigerate. Number 1, peanut butter. Now, I know this one might surprise you. For many older adults, peanut butter isn't just a snack, it's comfort. It's that familiar, satisfying spread from childhood that now, in later years, offers a convenient source of protein and healthy fats. But what if I told you that this beloved staple, when stored in the fridge, can actually do more harm than good, especially for seniors? Let's break it down. When you place peanut butter in the refrigerator, something happens. The oils begin to harden, the texture thickens. The peanut butter becomes stiff, even unspreadable, unless you use quite a bit of force. Now, for younger folks, that may not seem like a big deal. But for older adults with arthritis, weak grip strength, or reduced hand mobility, that minor inconvenience can turn into a daily frustration or even a painful struggle. Something as simple as making a sandwich, once an easy, joyful routine, can feel exhausting, discouraging, or worse, impossible. But the problems go deeper than texture. When peanut butter is repeatedly exposed to cold temperatures, the heart-healthy fats it contains, specifically the monounsaturated fats that support cholesterol balance and vascular health, can begin to break down. This process, known as oxidation, quietly undermines the very benefits you're counting on. You may think you're supporting your heart, when you're actually fueling chronic inflammation, increasing oxidative stress, and working against your cardiovascular health. And here's something even more concerning. Over time, refrigeration can slowly strip peanut butter of key nutrients, including vitamin E. Vitamin E is a powerful antioxidant that plays a critical role in supporting cognitive clarity. preserving memory, and reducing oxidative stress on aging brain cells. For seniors striving to maintain mental sharpness, that loss is significant, even if you can't see it or taste it. Imagine this. With every chilled spoonful, you might be silently diminishing one of the few nourishing, easy-to-eat foods that could otherwise support your aging body, especially your brain. And there's another layer to this story. Food isn't just about nutrition, especially as we age. Food is ritual, it's joy, it's routine. When that ritual becomes difficult, when a spread that once brought comfort turns stiff, bitter, or unpleasant, it chips away at quality of life. It's a small but meaningful loss, a reminder of how easily the everyday pleasures of life can be eroded by simple misunderstandings about food and health. And so, in this case, your refrigerator, ironically, doesn't preserve the peanut butter. It robs it. Now, if peanut butter, such a trusted kitchen staple, can quietly turn against us in the fridge, what other common foods might be carrying similar hidden risks? You might be surprised by the next one. In fact, chances are high that it's sitting in your fridge right now, and when stored the wrong way, it can actually make you sicker, not healthier. Stay with me. We'll uncover it next. You've just seen how a simple pantry mistake with peanut butter can quietly impact your health. Now, let's continue, because the next hidden threat may surprise you even more. It's a kitchen staple we all rely on, one that brings flavor and warmth to nearly every meal. But when stored the wrong way, it can introduce bacteria, rob nutrients, and even affect your heart. Let's take a closer look at onions. If you're still here and finding these insights helpful, please comment number 1 below so I know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 2. 2. Onions. The quiet kitchen workhorse that can turn risky with the wrong storage. Onions rarely steal the spotlight, but they quietly anchor countless meals, simmering in soups, enriching sauces, lending depth to stir-fries. For many seniors, onions are part of their most cherished recipes, meals that evoke memory, warmth, and connection. But here's the part many don't realize. Storing onions in the fridge, something so many people do, can quietly turn them from a health ally into a potential hazard. And often, by the time you notice something is wrong, the damage has already begun. Why is refrigeration harmful? Whole onions are naturally wrapped in a papery skin, designed to thrive in dry, well-ventilated spaces. The fridge, however, disrupts this balance. The cold, humid air seeps into the onion's protective layers. Bit by bit, they begin to soften. Moisture builds. Mold finds an opportunity. Bacteria begin to multiply. For a younger person, this may result in a mildly upset stomach. But for seniors, especially those with weakened immunity or sensitive digestion, this contamination can be serious. Infections, severe digestive upset, even an increased risk of inflammatory responses can quietly take hold from something as seemingly innocent as an improperly stored onion. But it's not just the risk of bacteria. There's another hidden cost: nutrient loss. Onions are rich in quercetin, a powerful anti-inflammatory compound that can protect your joints and heart. Quercetin helps reduce stiffness, supports circulation, and even offers protection against oxidative stress, a major factor in heart disease and cognitive decline. Unfortunately, refrigeration causes onions to rapidly lose quercetin and other vital flavonoids. Their healing potential fades before your eyes. What was once a powerful food for joint and heart health becomes little more than flavor, and there's an emotional cost, too. When the foods we trust no longer perform or taste as expected, it can shake our confidence in the kitchen. Many seniors find joy and comfort in cooking. When a fresh onion tastes sour, turns slimy, or leaves your fridge with that unmistakable bad odor, it robs you not only of nutrition, but of the experience of preparing a meal with care. The solution is simple but crucial. Store whole onions in a dry, dark place, such as a basket in your pantry. Let them breathe. Keep them out of the fridge. Cook them fresh, and you'll preserve both their flavor and their health benefits. But as important as onions are, they pale in comparison to the next ingredient, a fruit so common, so loved, and yet so easily stripped of its goodness by one. Common mistake. In fact, you've probably eaten one today. But did you store it the right way? Let's talk about bananas. 3. Bananas, the comforting fruit that loses its magic in the fridge. Bananas are one of life's simple pleasures. They're soft, sweet, easy to digest. They're often the first fruit a child eats, and one of the last fruits we keep close in later life. For seniors, bananas aren't just a snack. They're an important source of potassium, a mineral vital for muscle function and heart rhythm. They offer quick, natural energy. They're gentle on digestion and provide comfort in every stage of life. But here's the mistake many make: placing bananas in the refrigerator. At first, it seems harmless. Maybe you want a slow ripening or keep them fresh. But refrigeration triggers cold injury. You'll notice the peel darkening, but that's just the surface. Inside, something more harmful happens. Bananas are tropical fruits. They're not built for the cold. When chilled, their natural ripening enzymes shut down. Starches no longer convert to sugars. The texture changes. The banana may look ripe, but taste bland, firm, or strange. But here's the real danger: not just taste, but nutrition loss. Bananas are rich in dopamine and catechins, two powerful antioxidants that help combat inflammation, protect brain function, and support emotional well-being. These nutrients help reduce oxidative stress and support mental clarity, mood stability, and cognitive resilience. For seniors, this is critical. Age-related cognitive decline, mood shifts, and emotional imbalances can all be influenced by oxidative stress. When a banana is stored improperly, its antioxidants degrade. What once protected your brain and lifted your mood now provides far less benefit. And there's another issue: digestive strain. Cold-damaged bananas may be harder to digest, especially for seniors with sensitive digestive tracts. Instead of providing easy energy, they can trigger bloating or discomfort. So what should you do? Simple. Keep bananas at room temperature, on your counter, away from direct sunlight. Let them ripen naturally. If they start to ripen too quickly, use them in smoothies, bake them into oatmeal, or freeze slices for later use in recipes. By doing this, you preserve their sweetness, their antioxidants, and their easy digestibility, all while protecting your brain and heart. And now, as we've explored the risks of onions and bananas, there's one final category of foods you must be aware of: hidden dangers that can lurk in healthy, fermented products. They can introduce bacteria or toxins that an aging body may struggle to manage. You may think these foods are boosting your health, but in fact, they could be undermining it. Stay with me, because in the next part, we'll uncover these surprising culprits, foods that too often hide in plain sight. And more importantly, I'll show you how to enjoy them safely and wisely. You see, even the simplest choices in how we store our foods can quietly impact our health. And now that we've uncovered the hidden risks of improperly storing bananas, it's time to look at a few foods that must be kept cold, because neglecting to do so could carry far greater consequences. Now, let's move on to point number 4. 3 foods you must keep cold or risk dangerous health effects. First up, cooked meats and leftovers. There's something comforting about a home-cooked meal, isn't there? The familiar aroma filling your kitchen, the warmth on the plate, the sense of nourishment in every bite. For many of us over 60, leftovers represent more than just convenience. They are a way to preserve independence in the kitchen, stretch a budget, and savor the flavors of home for a little longer. But this simple comfort can become a hidden threat, one that I've seen catch many seniors off guard. And it starts with what happens after that delicious meal is served. You see, many folks assume that once food is cooked, the danger disappears. Unfortunately, it doesn't. In fact, for cooked meats especially, chicken, beef, pork, turkey, or even that tender piece of fish, danger can grow stronger once it begins to cool. The moment cooked meat is left out on your countertop, a silent process begins. Harmful bacteria like Listeria, Clostridium perfringens, and Salmonella can start multiplying rapidly. For a healthy 25-year-old, a mild case of food poisoning might mean a couple of rough days. But for older adults, the consequences are often far more severe. Our immune systems naturally weaken as we age. Digestion slows, recovery takes longer. And that means the same bacteria that a younger body might handle with ease can cause serious complications for someone over 60. Here's what many don't realize. It takes just 2 hours at room temperature for bacteria on cooked meat to reach dangerous levels. 2 hours. That's it. And even more troubling, you can't see, smell, or taste these bacteria. Your plate of food may look perfectly normal. It may even smell fine. But underneath that appearance, trouble may be brewing. Now, the real danger is not only food poisoning in the usual sense, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. For older adults, contaminated food often presents with more subtle, misleading symptoms. I've seen this many times in my practice. Instead of stomach cramps, seniors may experience confusion or dizziness, a low-grade fever, sudden fatigue, symptoms that could easily be mistaken for other issues, aging, medication side effects, or even the flu. If left untreated, these infections can trigger systemic inflammation. That means inflammation that spreads throughout the body, potentially worsening arthritis, impairing kidney function, and, most dangerously, placing added strain on an aging heart. For seniors already managing heart disease or high blood pressure, that's a risk no one should take. But here's the good news. This is one of the easiest dangers to avoid. It simply requires a small change in habit. If you aren't eating that food right away, cool it down, fast. Place leftovers into sealed containers and get them into the fridge within 2 hours, ideally even sooner. And label them. Most leftovers should be eaten within 3 to 4 days. Beyond that point, even if the food looks fine, the risk of bacterial growth becomes too high. And one more thing, never let cooked meat sit out overnight. Not even for a few hours while you relax after dinner. Trust me, it's not worth the risk. Now, meat and leftovers may seem obvious. But there's another everyday food that catches seniors by surprise, a food that spoils faster than many realize, and can cause deeper damage to your body than just an upset stomach. Let's talk about it. Next up, dairy. Picture this: a tall glass of milk, a creamy bowl of yogurt, a slice of cheese on your sandwich. All delicious, all good for you in moderation, but only if handled properly. Dairy is a wonderful source of calcium, protein, and vitamins, but it's also highly perishable. And when mishandled, spoiled dairy can lead to dangerous outcomes, especially for seniors. I've seen this story unfold too often. A patient comes in complaining of digestive upset, bloating, nausea, diarrhea. They've cut out spicy food, greasy food, alcohol, but the symptoms persist. The culprit? A carton of milk or tub of yogurt that spent just a little too long outside the fridge. You see, dairy is highly susceptible to bacterial contamination, particularly Listeria. And for seniors with weakened immune systems, Listeria infection can escalate quickly, leading to fever, chills, confusion, and in some cases, even sepsis or meningitis. Here's something you may not know. Pasteurized dairy products can still become contaminated after pasteurization if left at room temperature. Just like meat, the 2-hour rule applies here, too. Best practices? Store milk and other dairy products at 40 degrees, 40 Celsius, or lower. Keep your fridge well organized so cold air can circulate. Once you pour a glass of milk or serve yogurt, return the container to the fridge immediately. Don't leave it on the counter. Never consume dairy past its expiration date, even if it smells okay. Now, you might be thinking, What about cheese? Isn't hard cheese safe for longer? That's partially true. Hard cheeses like cheddar, Parmesan, or Swiss are more stable and can withstand brief periods outside the fridge. But soft cheeses like brie, feta, or blue cheese are much riskier. They can harbor listeria and other pathogens easily and should always be kept cold. And remember, as we age, our stomach acid levels naturally decline, making it harder to fight off foodborne bacteria. What might have been a minor tummy ache at 40 could become a serious infection at 70. So, the takeaway is simple. Prioritize safe handling of all dairy. Respect the cold chain. And when in doubt, throw it out. You deserve meals that nourish your body, not silently undermine your health. Now that we've covered 3 major categories of foods that demand proper refrigeration, cooked meats, leftovers, and dairy, you might be wondering, are there other kitchen habits that could be silently hurting your heart, gut, or immune system? The answer is yes, and in the next section, we'll explore a few more everyday pitfalls that seniors often overlook, and the simple swaps that can help you protect your body and thrive with each passing year. So, stay with me. We're just getting to the part that can truly empower your daily choices. Now, as we move from the hidden risks of contaminated sprouts, let's turn our attention to another everyday staple, one that feels safe and familiar, but when not handled correctly, can be a silent threat to your health after 60. 2. Dairy products. A comforting choice that demands caution. There's something timeless about dairy. Maybe it's the glass of milk with breakfast, the slice of cheese paired with crackers during the afternoon, or a creamy spoonful of yogurt to settle your stomach at night. These are simple pleasures, deeply rooted in memory and habit, often carried with us from childhood, and for good reason. Dairy can offer significant nutritional benefits, especially as we age, rich in high-quality protein, calcium to maintain bone strength, healthy fats to support hormonal balance, and key, vitamins like B12 and D that help bolster brain and nerve health. But here's where the story takes a turn. That same nutritional richness that makes dairy valuable also makes it one of the most dangerous foods to mishandle, especially if you're over 60. Why? Because dairy is the perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and your body, at this age, can no longer afford that fight. As we age, stomach acid production declines, making it harder to kill off harmful bacteria. Our immune response becomes slower and less efficient. What might cause mild discomfort in a younger person, a little nausea, a bit of diarrhea, can turn into a serious, even life-threatening situation for an older adult. I've seen it too often in my clinic. Seniors admitted for severe dehydration, intense joint pain, or systemic inflammation, all triggered by one overlooked carton of milk or a forgotten cheese plate left out too long. What really happens? When dairy isn't kept cold, it's not just about spoiling. Even after a couple of hours at room temperature, bacteria multiply rapidly in dairy products. You won't always see it. You might not smell it. But those bacteria can silently alter the product's chemistry, triggering digestive distress, weakening the gut barrier, increasing inflammation, and exacerbating pre-existing conditions like arthritis, irritable bowel syndrome, or even cardiovascular disease. Worse yet, seniors with existing heart conditions may not tolerate the added stress that comes from a foodborne illness. Vomiting, diarrhea, and dehydration can strain the heart dangerously, leading to complications far beyond the gut, and this isn't rare. Many cases of joint flares, prolonged fatigue, and unexplained low-grade inflammation I have treated in older. Patients can be traced back to improperly stored or handled dairy. The solution? Simple but strict. Always refrigerate dairy immediately after use. Keep your fridge at or below 40 degrees. Store dairy in airtight containers. Respect expiration dates, even if the product looks fine. If you're hosting a meal or a holiday gathering, remember that dairy should never be left out on a buffet for hours. Returning it promptly to cold storage is not optional, it's essential. Now, while we've covered how spoilage in dairy can trigger problems, there's another silent risk most seniors overlook: nutrient loss. The next food on our list, a staple for anyone trying to eat clean and boost brain health, can lose its power and even pose a risk if not handled properly. 3. Leafy greens, the nutrient powerhouse that needs protection. There's no question. Leafy greens are among the most powerful foods you can eat as you age. Just one handful of spinach in your morning omelet or a big salad at lunch provides an incredible array of brain-boosting, bone-strengthening, and circulation-supporting nutrients. But here's the truth. Most people miss. Those delicate leaves are also incredibly fragile. Once harvested, greens like spinach, kale, and arugula begin breaking down almost immediately. They rely on cold temperatures to stay fresh and preserve their nutrients. Left at room temperature for even a few hours, they begin to wilt, and with wilting comes a rapid loss of key nutrients. Folate, vital for cognitive resilience. Vitamin K, critical for bone and cardiovascular health. Lutein, essential for eye protection and brain clarity. And it doesn't stop at nutrient loss. As greens wilt, moisture builds in the leaves and packaging, creating an ideal environment for bacterial growth. Harmful pathogens like E. coli and Listeria love this environment, and their presence is invisible to the eye. Many seniors are surprised to learn that seemingly minor infections triggered by contaminated greens can worsen chronic inflammation and even lead to serious complications like heart arrhythmias or infections in the heart lining for those with weakened immunity. Here's what I tell every patient over 60. Store greens immediately in the fridge, ideally in a crisper drawer set to high humidity. Wash them just before eating, not in advance. Pre-washing can increase moisture and promote bacterial growth. Consume greens within 3-5 days of purchase for maximum nutrition and minimal risk. Avoid greens from salad bars or prepackaged mixes that have been sitting at room temperature for unknown periods. Can't count how many times I've seen healthy seniors who eat a ton of salads come in with bloating, joint pain, or brain fog, all traced back to mishandled greens. If you want to protect your heart, brain, and mobility, keep your greens cold and fresh. It's one of the simplest, most powerful things you can do for your health. And here's the final takeaway for today. While leafy greens are a nutritional powerhouse, they're not invincible. And as with every food we've discussed so far, the goal isn't to fear these foods, it's to respect them. When handled properly, they'll serve your body beautifully. When neglected, they can quickly undermine your health. Coming up next, we'll look at another surprising kitchen staple, one that seems heart-friendly on the surface, but can quietly trigger dangerous spikes in blood pressure if you're not careful. If you've found this information helpful so far, please take a moment to leave a comment with the number 2. It lets me know you're engaged and ready for more. And of course, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next video from Senior Health Boost. Now, are you ready to tackle the next hidden heart hazard in your kitchen? Let's move. As we just saw, something as simple as storing your food incorrectly, yes, even those crisp-looking sprouts or that tempting bunch of leafy greens, can have ripple effects far beyond what we imagine. When stored improperly, they can quietly transform from nutrient-rich superfoods into hidden hazards, carrying bacteria like E. coli or Listeria that can wreak havoc on a senior's body. And the consequences, they go far beyond an upset stomach. I've seen too many older patients who ended up in the hospital with long-term digestive issues, worsened joint inflammation, or dangerous dehydration and weakness, all stemming from one small, avoidable choice in the kitchen. And here's something most people never think about. Every time spoiled or poorly stored greens rob you of valuable nutrients like folate, calcium, vitamin K, or antioxidants, it's a missed opportunity to protect your Brain, strengthen your bones and nourish your heart. Over time, these quiet losses add up until they show up in your energy, mobility, and overall vitality. But here's the good news. You can take control. And it doesn't require a complicated nutrition plan or expensive new gadgets. Start with simple, intentional steps. Store your greens properly in your fridge's crisper drawer, wrapped gently in paper towels to absorb excess moisture, and placed inside breathable bags or containers. You're not just preserving their shelf life, you're protecting their life-giving power. Now, as we close this chapter, I want you to pause for a moment and reflect. How many of your food habits today are simply what you've always done? And how many are based on a true understanding of what your body needs now at this stage of life? Because here's the truth. After 60, even small choices, how you store your greens, whether you refrigerate your onions, how you handle your leftovers, can profoundly impact your digestion, your immunity, your energy, and even the effectiveness of your medications. Your fridge is not just an appliance. It is one of the most powerful tools you have to support your health or to unknowingly sabotage it. I've learned this lesson many times myself. I used to toss all kinds of foods in the fridge without a second thought. Bananas, onions, potatoes. I didn't realize that each choice had consequences. That keeping certain foods cold could strip away their nutrients, create toxins, or foster bacteria that my aging immune system was no longer equipped to handle. But this isn't about fear. It's about empowerment, about giving you the knowledge to make informed, mindful choices. A truly health-supporting kitchen doesn't have to be fancy. It simply needs to be intentional. So here's my challenge for you. This week, take 15 minutes to reorganize your fridge and pantry. You don't need to do it all at once. Just one drawer, one shelf, one habit at a time. Label and date your leftovers. Post a simple list of foods not to refrigerate on your fridge door. Check the temperature in your crisper drawer. Rinse greens thoroughly and dry them well before storage. And most importantly, share what you learn. Share it with a friend, a neighbor, a grandchild. This knowledge doesn't just serve you, it can protect your loved ones too. Because here's something I know for certain. It's never too late to change a habit. It's never too late to learn something new. And it's never too late to take better care of yourself. Because your body, your time, and your health are precious. Too often we overlook the small things. But after 60, it is the small things that matter most. So if this video gave you even one insight, one helpful tip, please pay it forward. Like this video, leave a comment below sharing one change you plan to make, and be sure to subscribe to Senior Health Boost so we can continue this journey together. Because this is what we do here, one simple, powerful step at a time. And as we've seen today, a healthier, more vibrant life can begin with something as simple as knowing what belongs in your fridge and what doesn't. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm honored to be part of your health journey. Until next time, take care of your food, and it will take care of you. And remember, you're not done yet. You're just getting started. Like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in the next video right here on Senior Health Boost.